this weekend coming up Saturday. You've got the big games, the playoff games of Georgia, Ohio State, and Michigan and TCU.
Georgia, Ohio State is at 7:00 Central on Saturday. So the Michigan TCU game is before that. Okay,
right.
There you go.
Thank you for that update.
Yeah, this is a big Saturday ahead. Don't call me. I don't want to hear from anybody.
I'll call you. I'll be in Colorado calling you. I'm sure. Yeah.
So you're not gonna watch the games?
Yeah, I'm gonna watch the games. Just in a different state, I can still watch the games. I'm capable of multitasking here.
Yes,
having fun and watching football. They both go hand in hand together.
So what's on your mind?
So I was thinking this weekend. I saw this article from ESPN by Mark Schlabach and Alex Scarborough.
Great article, by the way.
And it's titled this. It says how Kirby Smart built Georgia into another Alabama. And as you get reading this article, I mean, there's a lot of great stuff, as you mentioned. You were fascinated by this, and we can get to parts of this as well. But I want people to answer this question to me. Has Georgia surpassed Alabama at this point?
No.
Is it close? Where do they stand in terms of surpassing Alabama in terms of dynasty?
How many national championships does Alabama have?
I don't know, but Georgia has one at this
under
Kirby.
The answer is no. They have not.
What if they win this year?
They got a long way to go to catch Alabama.
2 in a row.
Yeah, I got it. But that's, and I don't want to diminish the article, but no, they have not caught Alabama. Now, here's the thing, though. There's one way to sort of summarize all of this and what's going on with that dynamic. That is this. Nick Saban is 71.
Yes.
Kirby Smart is 46.
Yep, that helps a lot for Georgia.
You got, and Georgia's, this article points to it. Alabama's seemingly lost some hunger. What happens at Alabama now is the recruits come in. This is I'm just paraphrasing the article. The recruits come in and they see all these national championship trophies, and they feel like they've contributed to it when they haven't even played it down yet. So there's a level of entitlement at Georgia. That hasn't happened yet. There's one, but Georgia's hungry. Think about Georgia, by the way. Okay, they're gonna beat Ohio State, then they're gonna beat Michigan.
Yep,
probably. Because here's why. Think about how hungry they are. Because last year, remember how good the defense was. They had 5 first-round picks off the defense.
It's stupid. Half the defense was a first-round pick.
They had 15 picks overall. 15 picks overall. I've covered some drafts at Nebraska where I wonder if anybody was going to get drafted.
And they did
recently. There's one year they didn't.
2019. No one got drafted in 2019. Not a single soul.
I covered it. Georgia had 15 drafted, 5 defenders in the first round. Where was I going with this? Here's where I was going. This is why Georgia's hungry. Stetson Bennett talked about this in the article, and it crystallized in my head. They're not getting beat. They're not losing. Because everybody said going into this year about Georgia, they weren't even number 1, by the way.
No, they weren't.
Alabama was number 1. What were people saying about Georgia's defense? Oh, you'll never be as good as last year's defense. Last year's defense you're never going to be that good. So how motivated do you think the Georgia defense has been?
Probably pretty motivated.
Really motivated.
Oh, we're not that good, eh? Huh? We're not that good.
Okay, so you have that side of the ball motivated, easily motivated by something real. The other side's motivated too because everybody said, oh, last year it was the defense. Oh, your offense wasn't that good. Stetson Bennett, come on. It wasn't that good of an offense. Well, the offense is motivated now because they didn't like that. It was like their rings were somehow diminished on that side of the ball. So they're motivated. Yeah, good luck against Georgia this year. Good luck.
Well, yeah. I mean, they had a 2-game stretch that looked rough early in mid-season, and then after that, they bounced back very nicely. They looked great against LSU in the championship win in the SEC. They put 50 points up on the board, I think, in that game.
So you pointed me to this article that says how Kirby Smart built Georgia into another Alabama. I'm not wild about the headline, but if you're want to read a great article about Georgia and how that program was built under Kirby Smart in the last 7 years, it is a really well done article. ESPN, by the way, is their writing part of that house is strong. Man, it's obviously an organization that edits well. I'm not going to go off on a tangent, but this is a great example of a great ESPN article, and it shines a great light on Kirby, boy. I mean,
Kirby's been looking pretty good at Georgia.
Now, Kirby, what he is at his core is what? At his core, what is Kirby?
I don't know.
A recruiter.
Yep.
That's what he is. He's a dynamic recruiter.
Don't forget, Kirby had a 14-0 lead at his first championship game against Alabama before they blew it in the second half.
Right.
Remember that?
Right. When they
could have had 2 already.
When he worked for Saban for
a long time.
9 years.
Long time.
10 years, something like that.
He was with the Dolphins with Saban also before that.
Maybe he might have been with him for 11 years.
He might have been.
He learned under Saban. And when at his introductory press conference at Georgia, so it was like 7 years ago, he told reporters he wanted to use every minute he had toward recruiting. He looked down at his watch and said, as a matter of fact, I'm ready to go right now.
I love that.
Yeah.
What a dude.
He's a
football guy.
Yeah. But at his core, he is a recruiter. And Georgia poured $7 million. They had a $7 million recruiting budget, which was, so from here you go, Jake. From 2016 to 2018, Georgia spent $7 million on recruiting. Okay, that's from 2016 to 18. Okay. Georgia spent $7 million on recruiting, which is $1.5 million more than any other public university in the Power Five, according to a USA Today network study.
How much more?
$1.5 million more than any other public university. When he went to the AD for the interview, I mean, the AD already knew him. His name was McGarity. It was sort of a sign-off type thing, but it wasn't a sign-off type thing in this regard. Kirby had a lot of demands. This is the way we're going to have to do it, and that was part of it. We're going to have a massive recruiting budget, and we're going to throw everything into recruiting. And it's paid off, obviously, right?
Which is wild because I don't think anybody ever thought that Mark Richt's teams were not talented, right?
Yeah, but they took it to another. Obviously,
they had a lot of NFL talent at Georgia. And they were good for a long time.
Yeah.
They just weren't elite or great like they are now.
Right. So you know what else Kirby is? So we established that. You know what, Jake? This is fascinating stuff. Kirby, at his core, is a dynamic recruiter. They say Kirby is an incredible, he's incredible he's got the gift of gab. They say he's otherworldly intelligent, but he's very human. And you know what else he emphasized? This is the part I always talk about this, Jake. D lineman. They bring him in. Yeah,
they bring in stud after stud after stud.
And you know where the best defensive linemen in this entire world are? In the entire world, think about on the planet.
The Southeast.
That's where the best defensive linemen in the world are, and he gets the best defensive lineman in the world.
And you can't run them.
He surpassed Alabama in that way. That the scouts now say, Georgia's got the defensive lineman now. Alabama still has a good defensive lineman, but no, Georgia surpassed them. They got the lineman.
I've seen it. Yeah, they got linebackers too and defensive backs. I mean, they're loaded, man.
They do.
There's no weakness on Georgia, really.
Not on the defense.
Is there a weakness?
I don't know. Not on the defense. And you know what else they've done as they've become this powerful running team? They got a three-headed monster at running back. They're not going to be.
They're going to win.
Yeah, they're not losing. They're not losing.
The question is going to be: Is any of their games close? Can
Close.
Ohio State keep it within within a touchdown against them?
Hey, well, we can get into this later.
What do you got?
Well, all this, when I was reading about Georgia, it does remind me of Nebraska in the 90s. They have incredible one-on-ones, physical practices. They operate in a different realm than a lot of schools. They can do that because they're deep, but their Tuesdays are they're horrifying for the players because it's all out, full contact. I mean, Terror Tuesdays is what they are.